LOL, it was muted. Hey, why does my hair look greasy? I just washed it. Yeah, I just unmuted myself. I saw that. I always do something like that where like I either like don't unmute my mic or I won't add the screen to the stage. So it'll stage the way they put it. So like it'll just be like I'm supposed to have like put it up so you can see it on the screen and then I didn't do it. Iram, thank you for becoming a member. Thank you. How is everyone? How is everybody? Hey, Ivy. You know, it just really annoys me that I just washed my hair and it looks greasy. Like, what? Why? I've been trying to catch your live, but kept missing it. Oh, I'm glad you got to be here this time. That's cool. I know. I told you guys that, like, I've been trying to think of like a steady time to do it because I want to be consistent so that you guys, I know it does. It's so annoying. I just washed it. I don't know if the product that I put in it made it look greasy. Did the product? Oh, yeah, it might be the product that I put in that made it look greasy, but whatever. It's just annoying. It's just annoying. Anyway, I have been meaning to come up with like a set time to do these lives. So at least once a week, like at least a set time once a week. So, and I hadn't done it because I'd been traveling. Ooh, I hadn't done it because I had been traveling, but now that I'm not traveling as much, I think that I can be more consistent. In any event, let me make sure this is working. Oh, I'm just gonna really quick just to say hi because I'm just saying hi. Everybody's saying hi. Okay, I want to say hi to some of my Instagram fam. Naga and Bark, love you so much. Thank you. That's really sweet. Hello, thank you for the work you do in Palestine. Thank you. KD0524. Hey, thank you. You guys are awesome. Annie Waters, sad and angry, RIP Mito. Yeah, no, totally. I feel very, very heartbroken about that. I actually started writing a song about it because I really love what he was talking about when he talked about planting before he was murdered. He talked about planting, how the Palestinians will plant and how he was using planting as a form of resistance, which I just thought was so beautiful. So I just started writing a song about that. Motawi from the Gaza Strip. Thank you. Thank you so much. I hope you're okay, Motawi. I know that it's really, really, really hard being there right now. Hello from New Zealand. Oh, New Zealand. Hey, girl. Hey. Salwa, hello. From what you're doing from Palestine. Lovely. It's good to see all of you guys. Hey, wee wee jumbo. Thank you. Yeah, it's been a little bit crazy. Obviously we're going to talk about what's been happening in the news. It's been pretty wild. I don't know if you guys heard yet, but the IOF. We're going to talk about the raid that the IOF did in the occupied West Bank, and excusez-moi, and the lies that they have been using to justify those raids in the occupied West Bank. Yeah, you know what? The reason people always make, Ireland. Hey, from Ireland. Did you guys know that I actually have Irish heritage? Okay, that's like my ethnicity. I'm not pretending to be Irish. I know Irish people get annoyed when like Americans try to be like, I'm Irish. I'm not saying I'm Irish. Like I'm just saying my ancestry is from Ireland. Hey, Linda. Collagen. Or, I always say collagen when I'm trying to say collage mirage. Collage mirage. Okay. Yeah. I'm sorry. Where are the arrest warrants for Netanyahu? Hello. This is also what I want to know. Please don't come here and kick us out. Hey, right. Because that's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking I should be able to go to Ireland and just steal someone's shit. Why not? Oh, I could go to Ireland, kick someone out of their house, and then just call it birthright. I know. I've been learning Irish on Duolingo. Oh, that's so cool. Oh my gosh, speaking of trying to new on Duolingo and trying to learn a new language. Hey, from Turkey. I want to learn Arabic, and it is so hard. I already feel discouraged, you guys. I started with like the easy lesson or whatever, the beginner lesson for Arabic on Duolingo, and I was like totally overwhelmed. Honestly, from a practical perspective, if I wanted to learn another language, I should learn Spanish because Spanish is the second most used language in the United States. And I've never even been out of the US. But guys, I have a dream now, okay? I have a dream that I'm going to get to go to Palestine and visit all the amazing people that I have met since this genocide started when Palestine is free. So I want to learn Arabic so I can talk to everybody when I go, you know? Even though actually, like, I feel like I'm surprised at how good like people's English is around the world. Like, it's crazy. Like, most people I've realized, like from around the entire world, no matter how they live, speak English in some capacity, which is crazy. Hello, everyone from all the platforms. Leah on Instagram said, "Thank you so much for what you do. I know you get so much personal hate from Zionists." Thank you, Leah. I appreciate that. It's you guys that keep me going, honestly. Because yes, I do get a lot of hate from lunatics and Zionists online every day, in smears, calling me things I'm not, you know, all that kind of shit, but threatening me. But you guys keep me going. You guys inspire me. And also, obviously, the people of Gaza inspire me to continue to keep going because I, you know, it feels impossible not to because every day I see it. It's there every single day. And it's like, how can I not? Like, I can't, I don't know. I can't. Some people have said to me, like, you have to just, and usually not like activists and stuff. It's usually just, you know, random people or whatever that'll be like, you should just log off, like stop looking at it because it's going to hurt your mental health and this and that. And I'm like, okay, but I literally can't. Like, I can't stop. It's like, how can you, it's like when you know something and then it's like you can't unknow it, you know? It's like I can't know what I now know about Gaza and know about what's been happening to the Palestinian people for decades when I was really ignorant about it before and really didn't know much about it. Well, now I do. And now that I know, I can't not know. And I can't go back to like my politics pre October 7th when it's totally different now. Yeah, Salwa on Instagram, they do that all the time. All the time. And the threats that they always lob at everybody are always deranged. Like, it's always very weirdly personal and very specific and very inappropriate and deranged. I actually love my favorite attack from Zionists is when they attack me for being non-binary and be like, if you were non-binary in an Arab state or in Palestine, they'd throw you off a roof. I'm like, really? Because you guys seem to be the ones that are obsessed with it. Like, you talk about it all the time, or you make fun of me for it, or you say it's stupid. So it's like they're trying to have it both ways. Like, they want to attack me for being non-binary at the same time that they're defending it by saying in the Israeli regime, we're so pro-LGBTQ. We're so pro-LGBTQ in the Israeli regime. We have gay pride parades and trans people. But at the very same time, they're bragging about being pro-LGBTQ rights, and they're not backwards like the Arabs. They're attacking me for being part of the LGBTQ plus community. Like, make it make sense. Pick one. Pick a struggle. Also, I always have the same answer to that. Even if, first of all, they're liars. People who are from Gaza and Palestine that I've talked to have always been like the most amazing and like accepting and loving people that I've met. But I always say, nonetheless, whenever they try to use that line, even if they did think that I was insane for being a part of the LGBTQ plus community or think that I'm wrong, that doesn't change anything. It doesn't change my stance. Also, I'm not going to be mad at Arab people that live in Gaza, Palestine, or anywhere in the Middle East that maybe don't see gay rights the same way that I do, when as an American who grew up in a country where gay rights used to be illegal, and a lot has changed over the last couple of years. I was raised in an anti-LGBTQ home. I was told that being gay was wrong my whole life by my religious leader. So like, it's an unconvincing argument and attack for me. Okay, that's what I'm trying to say. I am not convinced. I am not impressed. J Beam, I see your comment that said I'm still for posting that you can't go live. It probably won't let you. But in any event, I don't know how to add somebody to a live through the platform that I use, is what I'm saying. Like, I use it. I'm not actually going live through Instagram. I'm going live through a different platform. I don't know how to add people to it. But you know what? You just reminded me of something. I want to do a Q&A at some point. I want to do a Q&A where like, or not even just a Q&A, like you don't have to ask me a question. I mean like more of like an open space for like people to like have conversations or ask questions or like let their point of view be known on my Ko-Fi and on here. Who knows, maybe one day. It's a distraction. Hey, Henry. Yeah, totally me. They're all like, they're so full of shit. They're so full of shit. Oh, English is taught in Palestinian schools starting around first grade. Yeah. And like I said, it's not just Palestine. Like, I feel like most people, I live in New York City, so I meet people from around the world every day. Every day. Like, I know more people who are not from the United States than I even do in my area that are, because New York City has a massive immigrant population, which I love. It's one of the reasons why I wanted to live here, because I didn't want to live around all the same people. Like, I love how diverse New York City is. And I've never met anyone here, whether they had been here for 5 years, 10 years, 30 years, a year, that didn't speak pretty good English, like no matter where they were from. Okay, so I want to talk about sorry, I got distracted. Kyle McClintock said, I first learned about the conflict as in 2020 when I saw the video of Israel demolishing a Palestinian home. Yeah. I wasn't aware in 2020. I actually think the first time that I really heard of it or even kind of got like a cursory glance of it was there was there wasn't actually very much coverage on when they were attacking Sheikh Jarrah in 2021. I think the first time that I really started seeing it in the news, and it wasn't for a long time, it was just a couple weeks, and it was very specific on Shireen Abu Akleh in 2022 when she was murdered by the IOF. That made international news, and it was on the news here. I remember seeing them talking about it on CNN, and it was the first time that I'd ever seen any mainstream media outlet. And CNN, like, for context, you guys have to understand, if you don't live in the US, that CNN does all the propaganda, like every media outlet does here, but CNN does so much propaganda for the Israeli regime. Like, they're like a whole mouthpiece for the Israeli regime. They never criticize them. So I remember being surprised. And when I think about it now and how much propaganda they've done for the Israeli regime, I'm still surprised that they did a report that was as accurate as it was, because it was in 2022, after Shireen Abu Akleh was killed by them, that CNN did a report basically calling them out for lying. Like, they said at the time, like, we don't think that this is, at the time they were claiming that it was a Palestinian jihad. And CNN at the time was like, yeah, we don't think that's what really happened. Like, we don't believe them. And that was like the first like really like negative thing I ever heard about Israel. And then I didn't hear anything about it again for a couple of years, until then it made the news when the Netanyahu whatever cabinet started trying to take over the judiciary. That made the news too. And then obviously, but it was like barely really talked about, like, here. Like, we weren't really talking about it here. Like, basically what I'm trying to say is that, like, for Americans, like, no one really thinks about Israel. No one really does. Like, unless you're in politics, or you're a Zionist, or you're one of the groups that are doing propaganda for them, or the media, like, the average American is what I'm saying. They don't really know anything about it. And to the extent that they do, they think that, like, there's a lot of evangelical lunatics that think that, like, it's going to be a part of that, it's needed for the rapture. Butch, I'm worried about me too. Them bitches. Well, actually, I shouldn't say I'm worried. I don't want to make it seem like they have power over me. But I do attack the ADL a lot because they're a joke. Okay? The ADL is a joke. It is a garbage organization. Oh, hey, Fuwachan. Pray nay. Say, speak. English people color. That's crazy, pray nay. But I'm not even talking about people who live in the United States. I'm talking about people that, like, they've never been here. Yeah, I can't stand the ADL. I really can't. They're a joke. Hold on, guys. I gotta turn my AC off real quick. Because it is about to rain. Okay. You guys want to see my new hat? Isn't it cute? Make Palestine free again. I got it off Etsy. I think I got it off Etsy. It says Gaza 2024. And then there is a flag right there. How cute is that? And I don't know how many of you who are watching from outside the United States aren't familiar with Donald Trump and his slogan, Make America Great Again. His whole thing is like they have a red hat. It says Make America Great Again. So it's kind of like a play on that for anyone who might not know. But it's a great hat. Anyway, let's get into the news. Okay. Ronnie, I know, that's what I thought when I saw it in real life. It's so well done. Look at that. Very well done. All right, so someone wrote, make Make Israel great again. Okay, so let's get into the news. I really want to talk about who are Saeed, that's what I want to talk about in the news. So I'm going to share my screen cuz I want to go over some of what's happening in the occupied West Bank. Supposedly, oh yeah, I got to get a new ring light. I just realized that. I don't have a light in here. The lighting is like so dark or whatever cuz like I lost my ring light. I don't know where it goes. Or I don't know where it is. By the way, if you are watching from X or from Instagram, make sure to subscribe to my YouTube. Yeah, I didn't do it on TikTok today because TikTok, their live is so annoying. Their live is just so annoying. Ugh, why won't my hair stay up? Bro. This is so annoying. Oh, what's my YouTube? It's I am Blakely. It's the same as my Instagram. It's just at I am Blakely. Bad hair day, Theater of the Absurd. It's always a bad hair day, okay? That's why I am from now on getting haircuts that are very easy to manage because I hate dealing with my hair. Lula Rocca wear a hijab. That would be some mad cultural appropriation, bro. Mad cultural appropriation. Let me see. Why isn't it letting me stare my dream? Bro. This is so crazy. This is wild. Hasib, do you think Americans will ever understand what's going on in the Middle East? Yeah, I do. If people continue to educate them. That's one of the reasons why I make so much of the content that I do. My content obviously is not for like to quote unquote educate anybody that is like from the Middle East because you guys already know. Like you guys already know. My content is actually aimed and targeted at Americans because I want Americans to know the truth. I want Americans to be educated about what is actually happening in the world, what is happening in the Middle East, what is happening in Palestine and in Gaza, and how the United States is so intricately involved in that, and the power that the Israeli regime and the Israeli lobby has over the United States government and the chokehold that it has over our politicians. So that is why I do like so much of what I do. I'm trying to educate and bring awareness to Americans so that they understand how much they need to care about this. They need to understand it. So, okay. All right. So let's No, I know. We're gonna watch this. Yeah, make sure to subscribe to YouTube. It's at I am Blakely on YouTube, which is where like I'm mostly streaming from right now. And my other socials, you know, you can become a member at my Ko-Fi, which is like Patreon. It's just my same handle, and you also support my work by that. Or if you're on YouTube, you can donate a super chat, or you can donate to my Venmo. All that basically just supports my work so that I'm not having to rely on the platforms alone. Because you know the platforms like to play all kind of games. The platforms love to play games with anybody talking about this kind of stuff. Okay, so as we know, the Israeli regime has, I'm starting my new segment now, okay? So, as we know, if you guys want, pause. Cassius King just said that she's voting for Jill Stein, or he, I don't know what your gender is voting for Jill Stein. And if you guys want, we can talk about Jill Stein at the end of this. I am not really a big fan of Jill Stein. I'm not really into her campaign. I think that actually there's a lot of problems with Jill Stein. But if you guys want to talk about this after we talk about this story, then we can. It's up to you. I'll leave it up to you guys. Okay, Cassius. I'll leave it up to you guys. Okay. Okay, Ronnie, if you guys want to hear what I have to say about Jill Stein, and it's not positive, we could talk about that at the end. I just want to go over a little bit what has been going on in the occupied West Bank. So I want to show you this clip because I want to show you the insanity of the differences in the way that the media treats people and how it is reported coming from both of those perspectives, from the perspective of these two different media outlets.
This situation, Dalal Avi Melamed, former Israeli intelligence official, thank you very much for your time today.
Thank you for having me.
Professor Dalal Irakat, thank you very much for your time. And of course, a reminder that Israel would deny that it is carrying out war crimes in this situation. Dalal Irakat, Associate Professor of Conflict Resolution and Diplomacy.
They cut her off! They cut her off! They cut her off! You see the difference? You see the difference? It's amazing. Henry, yeah, I guess it's like not that bad. It's like a decent amount, but it's also, I also do the merch for the lulz. I want to have more funny merch, like fun merch. Okay, so how amazing is that segment and psychotic is that segment? It's a perfect encapsulation of the way that our media is so propagandized that they will just take the word of an Israeli regime intelligence official, and all the Israeli regime does is lie. All they do is lie. They don't do anything else except lie. Every time they open their mouth, it's a lie. So I just love how when it comes to the IOF intelligence official, it's all, thank you very much, sir. I really appreciate you coming on. We appreciate it. Thank you very much, sir. I'll just take your word for it, you know? Trust me, bro. But then when it comes to the woman, the professor, who is pointing out the fact that they have done so many war crimes, literally so many war crimes, it's not even countable how many war crimes. The interviewer, the propagandist that they're calling an interviewer goes, yeah, but just to let our viewers know, they deny it. How amazing is that? How amazing is that? Yeah, you're right. They're not just propagandized. What I meant to say was the propaganda is for you, the viewer. Of course, they're all bought off. They're all bought and paid for. They're all just arms of the regime. So then, but the propaganda is meant for you. It's just amazing how they play that game. That when it comes to somebody who actually works for the government, she takes his word for it. She just takes his word for it when he works for the government. But then a professor who is giving her perspective and calling out the documented war crimes that the ICJ said were war crimes that the UN has reported were war crimes. She ends it with, well, you know, I just want to point out that like the Israeli regime denies it. Why didn't you do that? Why didn't you do that to him? Why didn't you do that to him? Weird. Yeah, weird. Yeah, weird. Why? I don't know. Why didn't you do that to him? Strange. It's almost like you're a propagandist yourself. Ridiculous. Insane. Where is the...
army against the Palestinian people. It is not violence. It's a genocide from the Israeli army against the Palestinian people. It's not a conflict. It's a genocide, a war, ethnic cleansing from the Israeli military to the Palestinian civilians. And yes, to be honest, from 100,000 of settlers to 850,000 in West Bank. West Bank is not anymore a West Bank. It's a little fragment from Palestinian communities living there, and all the connection, all the network, the streets, all controlled by the settlers. I promise you, I experienced a death threat. One time I was trying to go back from Ramallah to Jenin. It's not even late. It's the evening, and suddenly we find ourselves surrounded by settlers who really clearly want to kill you. And we, the last,
and they have the backing of the IOF.
car, and if we just stopped, they are ready to kill you. They are attacking everywhere. They are putting fire in the houses of the people. They're shooting now. They have guns, officially permitted guns from the Israeli government being given to the settlers to shoot Palestinians in very easy, cold blood. So we're not facing only army. We're facing a crazy settlers, groups of crazy people who just want to kill more and more. And the idea is clear. They want to empty West Bank from Palestinians. Guys, what is happening in Gaza? What is happening in West Bank? We say it again and again. This was planned from 80 years, and the Israelis have the time to work on it slowly to displaced Palestinians in Palestine. They want Palestine empty from Palestinians, and that's the only plan. And they will not relax. They will not stop until this happened, or inshallah, it will be victory for Palestinians, and they will get defeated.
Yep. Exactly. At least 18 Palestinians have been killed and 30 more wounded in the occupied West Bank, where the Israeli regime has launched its largest military operation in 2 decades. And everything he said there was absolutely true. It's disgusting the way that they are treated. Like my mind was genuinely blown when I first saw video and pictures of what it looks like to live there, the way they're treated, how they have these like mat or like things above their apartments to catch trash that the settlers throw on them. The checkpoints are insane. Like the way it's militarized. Like, you call that freedom? You want to say that's not an apartheid state? Any American who's going to be annoying or dumb enough to say that is ridiculous, because there is absolutely not a single American that would put up with that would call that okay in this country. If somebody was doing that in this country, absolutely not. It's totally insane. It's so insane. And what they have done is, as he said, when he said the occupied West Bank is no more, he's right. Not only have they doubled their population of settlers, despite the fact that it is against international law, but you know why they keep doing it? Because who cares about international law? Who cares about international law? They don't care, because they know they're not going to get held accountable. They know they're not going to get held accountable. They know that they can do whatever they want and that they won't get held accountable for it. And so who cares about international law? Who cares about the ICJ? Who cares about the UN? They're just going to do it anyway. And they have infiltrated the occupied West Bank so thoroughly. And it's like Swiss cheese now. And they did that on purpose so that it would make it impossible to ever do a quote unquote 2-state solution. The whole two-state solution thing is bullshit, and it was never going to happen anyway, but it certainly couldn't happen now because they are all, as this guy pointed out, it's all fragmented. They have cut up the West Bank 80,000 pieces to Sunday. All the Americans who vote for the Democrats or Republicans are complicit in genocide. Well, that's true, but honestly, KK, any American is complicit in genocide, regardless of who we vote for, and that includes Jill Stein. That includes any third-party candidate. Because the fact of the matter is, even if you vote for a third-party candidate because you don't want to be complicit in genocide, number one, and we can talk about this later when I go over my Jill Stein thing. No president is gonna there is no president that isn't going to be a war criminal. That's number one. Number two, if you're a tax-paying citizen in this country, your money's going toward genocide. Like, period. I don't believe that it could happen. I don't think that the two-state solution is ever going to happen. I think that that two-state solution was a lie. It was always a lie. It's something that they just tell the West because it makes the West feel better. They'll be like, oh my gosh, good. They get their own state, two-state solution, cool. Anyway, but like it was never going to happen. So yeah. So I have a question. What are their ridiculous excuses? Oh, here we go. This is a good
But is there any hope left for the Palestinians?
Yeah, because also I would like to remind everybody, for those of you who are wondering or just here, that there is no Hamas in the occupied West Bank. Just a reminder, okay? So in the Israeli regime, why are they there? Why are they there? Why did they launch a raid? Why did they go there? Oh, because of Iranian proxies. Iranian proxies. Evidence? Trust me, bro. Also, I like how they go into the occupied West Bank and then they say they're defending themselves. I saw a bunch of lunatics being like Zionists and stuff being like, they're just defending themselves. Defending themselves from whom? You're the invader. You're the invader, bro. Like, you don't. This is what kind of insanity and gaslighting we're living with, you guys. They literally go in to the occupied West Bank that is not their territory under international law. It is Palestinian territory. They go into it. They start attacking Palestinians and then turn around and go, we're just defending ourselves. You can't defend yourself if you're the intruder. You're not defending yourself if you're the invader. That would be like me breaking into your house and then calling the cops on you. Like, that's literally what it is. They are breaking in to someone else's house and then calling the cops on them. You can't call it self-defense if you are the one who is invading. And that's exactly what they're doing. They're literally going into the occupied West Bank, attacking Palestinians, doing raids, killing their people, killing their civilians. And then when Palestinians try to defend themselves, they go, terrorists, terrorists. That's literally what they're doing. So again, to recap, they have invaded and launched the largest scale raid and attack on the occupied West Bank in 2 decades. They have absolutely no right to be there. They have absolutely no right to be there. They have absolutely no right to have invaded the occupied West Bank and done this raid. It is against international law. It is against humanitarian law. These are war crimes, but they won't get punished for it, which is why they keep doing it. That's number one. Then they kill a bunch of Palestinian people who are just trying to defend their territory and their land. And when people say, why are you killing them? They go, terrorists, terrorists, because terrorists is the end all be all for these people. That's all they have to do. That's all they ever do. They call everyone a terrorist. They call everybody Hamas. And then they justify killing civilians by just calling them terrorists. That's it. It can be a 12-year-old boy. They'll call him a terrorist. End of story to them. Period. End of sentence. Oh, we kill him because he's a terrorist. How do you know? How do you know? Also, the way they define terrorism is just, it was a Palestinian. So they're defining terrorists as they were just Palestinian. And so we killed them. Okay. So that's what they did. They killed a bunch of people and then just call them terrorists. And then when people go, well, why are you calling them terrorists? A lot of these people, why are you calling them terrorists? These people are just Palestinian civilians and you shouldn't be in their territory anyhow. So why are you there? And Hamas is not in there. What are you doing? They go, Iran, something, Iran, something, Iran scary, something, I don't know, Hezbollah. It's totally insane. It's totally insane. This is giving weapons of mass destruction energy. And okay, so that's the first reason. So the first reason why they're doing it is because they want the rest of the West Bank. That is what people have been talking about. That's what that guy just said in that clip, and he's absolutely correct. They want to take what is left of the occupied West Bank for themselves and their settlers. So that's why they're doing this. Number two, the other reason why they're doing this is because they want World War III. They are trying to start a broader regional war that they can drag Lebanon into, that they can drag the occupied West Bank into, that they can drag all the surrounding countries into to get to Iran, because they want war with Iran. And this is not new. They have wanted war with Iran forever, okay? There is clips of Benjamin Netanyahu from the early 2000s, okay, trying to go to Congress and convince Congress that we should go into Iraq because of weapons of mass destruction, which never happened, which was a lie. And he was the reason why we got out of the Iran deal. The Iran deal was to stop Iran was to take the sanctions off of Iran and stop choking out their economy so long as they didn't develop a nuclear weapon. And the Israeli regime hated that deal. They hated it. So all the Zionists gave Trump a shitload of money and said, if you get into office, we'll give you this money to help you get into office if you destroy the Iran deal once you get into office, which he promptly did on the Israeli regime's behalf, because Trump is also a Zionist cuck. So he just does whatever they want. And yeah, so they've been wanting war with Iran for a really long time. So a lot of this is about wanting war with Iran. Okay? That's what a lot of this is. Aside from wanting the rest of Palestinian land. And they do it by basically gaslighting and pretending to be victims, which, not really the victim thing. The United States doesn't really do that because the United States loves to be like, we're the most powerful, like don't mess with our army or whatever. But so the victim complex they have is kind of unique to them. But one page that they definitely did take out of the Americans' playbook when doing all of this to the Palestinians is the trying to use like diplomatic language and like official cover in order to do it. Like, oh no, guys, we actually like had to do this because legally, blah, 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 well, a bunch of like legalese bullshit. And then when that didn't work, they're just like, okay, whatever, we're just going to do it anyway. Hamas, Iran, Hezbollah, something, right to defend ourselves, something, we have a right to exist, something, everybody's a terrorist. So we're just going to invade the occupied West Bank and use the excuses of terrorism and a bunch of other bullshit so that we can annex the rest of their land, ethnically cleanse them, genocide them, and commit a bunch of war crimes while we're at it, because who gives a shit? The UN's not going to do anything. The Americans are going to keep funding us and giving us money. The ICJ isn't going to do shit. So like we get to live with impunity. Okay. That's what's happening.
Is that people see this kind of a invasion of the West Bank as maybe a Gaza 2.0, but is there any hope left for the Palestinians? Is this somehow different from the ground invasion in Gaza?
Well, first of all, I think it's important to note also that the Israeli foreign minister himself said that this is going to lead to Gaza-like evacuations. I mean, we've seen what that means in Gaza. That means that millions of people, 90% of the entire population of Gaza are currently displaced. Many of them having to evacuate from one corner of Gaza to the other more than 10, 15 times. And every time they do so, several of their family members die of hunger or thirst, while at the same time, many of them, of course, are being killed by missiles, hitting tents where refugees are sleeping. If that is what they are calling for to happen in the West Bank, where Hamas is not present, then it's further pushing the envelope of testing. Is there any red line? Is there any point in which the United States would say, enough is enough? You are doing all of this with our taxpayers' money, with our weapons, and you are destroying America's standing on the global stage, something that we absolutely will need, given the fact that in this century there will be increased tensions with China. It's not inevitable, but we will go towards a situation in which there will be a lot of geopolitical flux.
They already are. They already are. Because not only have they inflamed already, they're already trying to get us into a conflict with China, okay? Because this country also loves to fearmonger about China and Russia, in Iran, of course. But also, our standing on the world stage has already been really damaged because of the fact that we can't stop, won't stop running cover for the Israeli regime. Like, because everybody knows that they wouldn't be able to get away with this if it weren't for America, which is why I always say, okay, if there is something that happens on American soil, some kind of attack on American soil, understand that the reason why something like that might happen is because people in the world are hating us because of our support for Israel. So don't act shocked that people hate us, and don't act shocked that people around the world, especially in the Middle East, don't like us when they see that we're funding and propping up and giving unconditional support to this terrorist regime. Yeah, and Ukraine, obviously, like we're doing Ukraine, but I don't like comparing Ukraine to what's happening in Gaza because it's not the same thing. It's not the same thing. I think that obviously our country does so much fear mongering about Russia that is like wholly unnecessary. But at the same time, the facts is that Russia actually did invade Ukraine. And also both of them have standing armies. So I hate when people compare them. They're nothing alike. It's not the same situation at all. Ukraine at least has a military to defend themselves with. So I know that there are a lot of people that say like the only reason why we're defending Ukraine is because we hate Russia. And there is truth to that. A lot of it is about Russia fear mongering, wanting to keep Russia in its place, wanting, to have tension with Russia, there's a lot of things, wanting to do regime change in certain areas and have puppet governments. Like, I get that. America's always putting its dick where it doesn't belong. But it's not the same thing, because two major differences is Ukraine has a standing army. They're a sovereign nation that is able to defend themselves in a way that the Palestinians are not. And also, Russia actually in real life did invade Ukraine. Like, they did start this. They were the aggressor in this conflict. I know a lot of people will be like, it didn't start there. It started back in 2014. Like, I get all that, but the actual invasion did start with Russia going over the border of Ukraine, not close. And I'm not saying that there wasn't a bunch of chicanery that was happening from the Western Ukraine. That I'm not even saying that. All I'm saying is it is not the same thing. So it really chaps my white ass when people compare what's happening in Ukraine to what's happening in Gaza. Totally different. Did I just sit on? Oh, shit. All right. Hold the phone, guys. Hold the phone, guys. No, because the way the war is playing out is totally different. It's not even a war. That's why it bugs me when people do that. All right. Hold on, guys. I gotta pee. All right, what was I saying? Did I miss some good comments? I hate when people leave idiot comments in my comments section over and over again as if I'm going to read it. And I already told you, but I think that there's a Zionist troll somewhere in here. And by the way, I already told you that if you're going to be a troll and you're going to come in here just to troll and say stupid shit, you have to send a super chat. Okay? You have to, if you want to say stupid shit, you have to send a super chat if you're a troll coming in here. Okay? Anyway, let's finish this.
And not having standing, not having credibility, not having any of those things is a huge detriment to the United States. And that is what Israel is causing the US right now, let alone the mass murder of the Palestinians.
All right. And then listen to what Omar Badar says about this, or Badar.
Bank. Yeah. Amen. I think. What do you make of this military operation and escalation that we're seeing now in the occupied West Bank?
Military operation.
Amen. I think just for context, which I think is really important, it's important to remember that Israel's occupation of the West Bank is illegal under international law. Israel does not even belong in the West Bank at all. And yet for decades now, they've been on this project of expansion and land takeover and ethnically cleansing Palestinians and pushing them into smaller and smaller areas of the West Bank. This has been going on for a very long time. And I think that at this point, Israel saw an opportunity, given the attention of the entire world being focused on Gaza, to escalate further in the West Bank. Mm-hmm. You know, when you talk about the West Bank, we've seen more than 650 Palestinians had been killed since October to this day. Under normal circumstances, this would be a massive crisis that would grab the entire world's attention. But it is only in the shadow of far greater horrors and more than 40,000 Palestinians being killed in Gaza has this flown under the radar, and Israel has gotten away with it. And naturally, this is creating some resistance, as this kind of violence always does. And now Israel is increasing its military operations, operating under the false premise that they've been deluded with for a very, very long time, that you can somehow pummel Palestinians into submission if you can only kill a little bit more, steal a little bit more, and torture and imprison and besiege. But this is really a recipe for further and further violence, as history has showed us. We need the exact opposite of this. We need the world to act to restrain Israel in order to end its occupation and recognize Palestinian rights. That is the recipe to a better future.
If Israel feels so emboldened by what it has done in Gaza without any consequence, what is to stop them from continuing to do?
They won't. They'll continue to do it. They will continue to do it. And what that Omar guy said is 100% true. The fact of the matter is they are going to have to be forced. The international community, especially the United States, has to come together and bring them to heel, because they are out of control. They're out of control. They're breaking international law left and right, because I know international law doesn't apply to them. They are committing war crimes left and right. They're not just committing war crimes left and right. They are making a mockery of the whole notion. They have made the Israeli regime has made a mockery of the whole notion of the UN. The Israeli regime has made a mockery of the whole notion of the International Criminal Court, the International Court of Justice. Like, they've made a mockery of the whole thing. International law is a joke. They have made a mockery. The Israeli regime has made a mockery of the entire concept of international law. And the thing is that they need to be brought to heel. They need to be brought to heel. And the only way to do that is if international communities come together, led by the United States, and bring them to heel. They need to be brought to heel. That is the only way. I love how they seem to be the only country we don't want to do regime change in. Like, we love to do regime change in the United States. The United States loves to go all around the world and do regime change in other countries and put in puppet governments. But the one place that really probably should get some regime change ain't getting it. I think that the United States and the international community should come together and like force Netanyahu to step down and force their cabinet to dissolve and force them at the table to yeah, stop this and obey international law, respect international law, get out of the occupied West Bank. I don't know what the full solution is, because that's not up to me. That's up to the Palestinians. The Palestinians deserve their sovereignty. But I just think that there's no way to do this without the international community, because Netanyahu should be in prison. They all should be at The Hague. All their leaders should be at The Hague. And something needs to be done, because they're just going to keep going. Like, he's asking him, what's to stop them from keep going? There's nothing. The reason why they act with so much impunity is because there's never any consequences. Some guy just wrote, tell me you just want to become Hamas then. Hey, I already told you, if you're going to say dumb shit on my live, then you have to send a super chat, okay? I hate these cheapskates come into my lives. They stay the entire time, okay? I've already been on for almost an hour, getting all cheap, won't send a super chat, but then writes message after message after message wanting me to answer their questions. Either send a super chat or shut your trap, okay? In such an embarrassing comment. So we're talking about how the Israeli regime is committing all these war crimes and they need to be brought to heel. And this guy comes in and is all, just admit you want to be Hamas. Oh my gosh. It's amazing. It's truly amazing. Because they also think they're entitled to my time and my attention in these lives. Like, I'm sorry, who are you? Like, to me, like, it's people that are just acting like no, you know what it is? It's that Zionist entitlement. Like, Zionists always feeling like they're entitled to my time, that they're entitled to my energy, that they're entitled to my comments, my responses, even if they're threatening me. I will tell you this, anybody who is here, who is listening, you do not owe Zionists anything, okay? You do not owe them an explanation when they call you anti-Semitic. You don't owe them anything. It's unreal.
Even worse in the West Bank.
Yeah, I think we're absolutely on the road to further escalation at this point, because Israel has seen that there has been absolutely no material consequences. Certainly their image in the international community has taken a very significant hit given the scale of the atrocities that they've committed. But as long as they have US backing in terms of military funding, I think they're happy to just proceed to take as much land as they possibly can and behave the way that they are. And the possibility for a very significant escalation, whether it's in the West Bank, whether another intifada or uprising could break out, whether it's the potential for a regional war with Lebanon and Iran, as long as we are on this path, I think is also increasing day by day.
Exactly.
The obvious solution to all of this in the immediate present is to get a ceasefire in Gaza, to have an end to this onslaught. And that would instantly diffuse regional tensions, especially with Lebanon and with Iran. And from there, we can start working towards much more, to start dealing with the fundamental problem that has led us to this point in the first place, which is the fact that Palestinians have been living under Israeli control without any rights for decades. And that is a recipe that is going to lead to endless violence, as it has over and over again. There is a fundamental, people talk about it as if it's a slogan, no justice, no peace. But I think it's a description of basic human nature, that in any situation in which there is long-lasting injustice, that peace cannot follow, that this is going to lead to conflict. And people who are interested in resolving conflicts have to look at those underlying causes.
That's a really, really good point that he made just then. That no justice, no peace is not just a slogan people use at protests, it's a description. And that is true. The reason when people always say, oh, the Israel-Palestine conflict, the reason why there's conflict is because you guys have your boot on their neck. That's why. You put them in a concentration camp. You oppress them. You don't let them have freedom. You don't let them have autonomy. And then you wonder why there's not peace. No, the thing is that they're mad because they want the Palestinians to just shut up and take it. They're mad that the Palestinians continue to resist. They want them to just let them take all their shit and genocide them. And the Palestinians keep saying, nah. And it doesn't matter. The Israeli regime keeps fucking around and finding out, but they're going to have to keep fucking around and finding out, because as so long as you oppress them, they will always resist. You are never going to get rid of them or wipe them out. You can try, like I see you're trying, but you're never going to wipe them out. They are always going to resist, as they have the right under international law to do. And as he said, you're never going to have peace so long as you oppress them. They try to make it seem like they always try to make themselves victims. Like, oh, this is happening just because they hate us, and Lebanon are mean, and Iran's bullying us, and blah, blah, blah. We live in a bad neighborhood. Somebody call the ambulance. We're such victims. It's like, no. I know that you're trying to make yourself the victim, but you're literally the aggressor. Like, they attacked Lebanon. So, like, you don't get to attack Lebanon, start shit with Iran, try to escalate tensions with Yemen, and continue to genocide the Palestinians, and then be like, oh my gosh, like, I'm such a victim. I like live in like such a rough neighborhood. Like, oh my gosh, please come help me. I'm just defending myself. Like, it's so ridiculous. Yeah, I love when Zionists will be like, actually, Zionism is just Israelis, like, a response to what happened in the Holocaust. It's like, really? Then why were they talking about it and like doing it in the 1800s, okay, and early 1900s? Last time I checked, the Holocaust happened in the 40s, 30s, late 30s, early 40s. So...
and work towards justice and equality and human rights for all. That is how we actually move the ball in a better direction than the path that we're currently on.
So let me ask you about the ceasefire. Ceasefire negotiations to end the war, obviously ongoing.
No, they're not. That's another thing. They're not actually ongoing. Okay? They're not trying to get a ceasefire. Let me tell you why they don't want to have a ceasefire, okay? Oh. Okay. So the reason why what always annoys me. Oh, I know, Fuwachan. I know they always do that. Okay, so they don't want a ceasefire, and the reason why Netanyahu really doesn't want a ceasefire and why they're resisting it so much is because Netanyahu knows that if there were to be a ceasefire, that is the end of his political career. And likely that's when the investigations would start. That is when the UN would go in. That is when international journalists would be back allowed into the Gaza Strip. And they have committed so many war crimes and killed so many people, probably in the hundreds of thousands at this point. I know they say 40,000. They've been saying 40,000 for 6 months. It has been it's likely in the hundreds of thousands, probably at least 200,000. And so that is likely why they're also keeping it going, because they don't want any investigations or the whole truth to come out. Because once the fighting stops, once the killing stops, once the massacres stop, they're eventually going to have to let international journalists in. They're eventually going to have to let the UN in. They're going to have to let some of these organizations in. And when the rubble starts to get cleared, people are going to find out more and more about their war crimes, more and more about the sick shit that they did, more and more about the people that they killed. And they're going to see that the way that this entity is functioning right now is not sustainable. So when they say this is an existential threat for survival for the Israeli regime, they mean it. because they know, and I think Netanyahu knows too, that this isn't just a matter of not wanting to stop this because of his own political ambitions, because he wants to protect himself. But I also think that it is that it's him wanting to protect himself and wanting to stay in power. But I think it's also the entire government wanting to protect the entire project, the Zionist project and entity, because they know that they have really messed up and really, really, really messed up not only their image on the international stage, they have messed up their relations with people all over the globe. They have shown their true colors and what they are doing. And now the entire world sees what a brutal project this is. And they know that it's not going, no, we're not going back, is what I'm saying. And we're never going back to the status quo of just Palestinians live in a pen, they live in a cage, and we get to lie to everybody and do Hezbollah and say that we're just defending ourselves and we're just these nice people that want to live in peace, but we can't live in peace because of these, mean Arabs and terrorist Palestinians. We're not going back to that. We're not going back to that. So they see that. I think they know that. And I think that they know that whatever happens, whatever ends up happening, it's not going to be the same as what it was. And the project as it is constituted now is not going to be allowed to continue in the same way. And that's also why they're doing it. That's why they don't want it to stop. That's why they're trying to actually accelerate. That's the reason why they're trying to accelerate what they're doing in the occupied West Bank. Because you know how, like, when somebody is doing something really wrong and they know they're about to get caught, so they speed it up. Like, okay, like, let's say, when somebody is speeding and then they see a cop is behind them, so they accelerate their speed. I feel like that's what the Israeli regime is doing. They see that people are catching up to them. They see that people are catching up to what they're onto and what they're doing. And they see that people are catching up to what they are and what they're doing. And that's why they're accelerating their attacks also on the occupied West Bank. They want to hurry up and grab as much land as they can and try to drive as many Palestinians out as they can and kill as many Palestinians as they can, because they see that people are really starting to catch on and that this isn't working. And so they're putting their foot on the gas pedal and accelerating all the massacres and the land grabs, because this is kind of the last ditch effort to do this. Are you guys even in chat? Are you guys even talking about what I'm talking about? It seems like you're having a totally separate conversation, which I guess is fine, but yeah, Stu, and there's like an actual literal convicted terrorist in his cabinet. Isn't it? I think it's Itamar Ben-Gvir is like a literal terrorist. Okay, I can't tell because it seemed like you guys it seems like you guys are having a separate conversation, but like I said, which is fine. You can have a separate conversation. That's cool. In YouTube, they are, not on X and not in Instagram. Because I'm streaming on multiple platforms. Is there a Zionist in my chat? Just hope not. Wait, is there? All right, I don't know who is starting shit in my chat, but I don't know who's starting shit in my chat, but do I need to ban someone? Do I need to block someone? All right, let me know if there's a troll in chat, if there's a troll in chat, if I need to kick them out. Stu thinks that Hamas is a proxy of Netanyahu. No, I don't think so. I don't think so. I think that, yeah, there's proof that that Netanyahu had approved for Hamas to get money, but as a way to kind of divide the Palestinians in the West Bank, the occupied West Bank, from the Palestinians in Gaza. But that doesn't mean that like they were a proxy of his. That was just a convenient decision. The fact of the matter is, under international law, Hamas is a resistance group that is made up of mostly orphans. And like I said, under international law, Palestinians, regardless of what kind of that's a great idea, Azara. Is there a Zionist in my chat belongs on a t-shirt? That's such a great idea. Yes, I'm gonna add that to the store. But the thing is that first of all, regardless of what anyone says, it is the right of all oppressed people to resist under international law. So that's number one. And number two, yeah, when you actually like watch interviews that like Al Jazeera and Vice did some on Hamas, they're orphans.
It's really unclear if there even is an agreement that is possible at this point. The bombings continue in Gaza. Disease is now rampant in Gaza. Less than 2 weeks ago, a 10-month-old baby was confirmed to have polio, the first known case inside the Strip in almost 25 years, I believe. First, do you think a ceasefire deal as it stands is possible?
The obvious impediment to a ceasefire is the fact that Netanyahu is not interested in ending this war. This has been clear over and over again. And the problem, of course, behind that is to say, what is allowing Netanyahu to behave the way that he currently is? The reason why he's continuing this war is for purely personal reasons. He's worried about his legacy and his political career if he allows this war to end without any kind of resolution. And the question is, how many more Palestinian children have to be killed before the US says that enough is enough? And to start actually using its leverage, in this case, the obvious leverage to get Netanyahu to start respecting international law and human rights and looking out for even what American policy preferences stated are, is to pull that military funding or to threaten it in a meaningful way. If American politicians saw daily video briefings of the suffering of the people in Gaza and the children who are being killed day in and day out, they would put an end to this onslaught immediately. But the problem is that we operate in an environment in which Palestinians their lives are considered secondary, nobody's paying enough attention to them, and we put Israeli lives somehow as being more valuable. And when you operate in that dynamic, you're obviously emboldening a situation in which conflict continues.
Yeah. I mean, where's the lie? Where's the lie?
What do you make of?
Certainly violence has surged in the shadow of the war in Gaza, but what is really causing so much concern is just the scale and the scope of this military operation that Israel is now conducting. It involves hundreds of troops, and as we were saying, it's the biggest of its kind in a couple of decades. Still this morning, this is ongoing in Jenin and Tulkarem, the Israeli raids there. The Israeli military has put out a statement saying that it's killed 5 members of Palestinian armed groups who are hiding in a mosque in the Nur Shams urban refugee camp in Tulkarm, saying that one of them was the local leader of what was known as the Tulkarm battalion. The Israeli...
First of all, the way they report on this is insane. What do you mean that you took out members of Palestinian armed groups? It's not your territory. What gives you the right to disarm them? How come no one ever asked that? I want an answer to that. I want an answer to that. Even if, I don't even know what armed groups they're talking about, but Palestinians in their own territory have a right to defend themselves and to be armed. So what makes the Israeli regime think that they can just go in to any of these occupied territories, in any of these territories that belong to the Palestinians, and disarm them? What gives you that right? What makes you think you have that right? And why is BBC reporting it like they don't say why? They don't say why. They don't come in and say, like, why are they doing this? Well, why are they in there? Why are they going in there? Oh, so that they can disarm armed groups. Why? Why? Why can't there be armed groups? Why are you allowed to be armed, but they're not allowed to be armed?
Military commentators really highlighting here how Israeli military efforts are going after bomb-making abilities that are said to have developed in this area, as well as weapons and funding that may have come in from Iran, they say. And
I love that. Weapons and funding that might have come in from Iran. Evidence? Yeah, it's just amazing how the way they present it. Like, it's just amazing the way that they present it. It's like, they said, just the way they talk about it, the whole thing is biased. Like, you don't even have to lie in order to have trash that is totally biased. Like, they'll be like, yeah, they invaded Palestine to disarm armed groups. Well, why are they there? To disarm armed groups. Well, who says those groups can't allowed to be armed? They might be getting funding from Iran. Evidence? Like, no evidence needed. No evidence needed. And you know what? No wonder the Israeli regime can act with such impunity when they've got the entire West and the media apparatus defending them and doing propaganda for them. Like, literally. What do they need it for? When the whole West and the whole Western media, US media, BBC, is just going to do propaganda for the Israeli regime and lie for them by omission. No wonder the Israeli regime doesn't feel the need to defend its actions. It's no wonder that they don't feel the need to justify their raids and their illegal occupation or their illegal invasion of the occupied West Bank. They don't feel the need to do that because the West will always run cover for them. The United States government will run cover for them. The media will run cover for them. It's just amazing. It's amazing, the lying.
We've heard from the Israeli military that it did find a command center in another mosque in the urban refugee.
Oh, it found another Hamas command center in another mosque. You know what? We still have not seen any evidence of the supposed Hamas command center at Al-Shifa Hospital. What happened to that? Again, they can just recycle the same lies over and over again because no one ever questions them. There's never any follow-up. You notice that? You notice that, like, there's never any follow-up? Where's the follow? You notice how whenever the Israeli regime commits a war crime, they just say, we're investigating it, and then the investigation doesn't go anywhere. That's, like, they always say that. They'll be like, okay, so this is how it works. The Israeli regime will commit a war crime. And then after they commit said war crime, they will say either deny it or they'll say, oh, we're going to investigate that ourselves. We'll investigate ourselves. Okay? We're going to investigate ourselves. And then no one ever asks about it again. No one ever asks about it again. Just goes away. Because remember when they said that they had evidence that there was a Hamas command center under Al-Shifa Hospital. Huh. Yeah. Weird. We never saw any evidence for that, except for their little AI drawing. They had like a little AI reenactment of it, but any evidence? No, of course not. Absolutely not. Yeah, the Hamas-run health ministry. So now they're saying that they have evidence that there's a command and control center in a mosque. Where? Evidence, please. Oh my gosh, it's a joke. It's an actual joke.
Camp in the north of the Jordan Valley, as well as what it said was an explosives lab there. Now, for Palestinians, all of this is causing so much panic and fear, particularly some of the comments that came from the Israeli foreign minister as well, talking about possible evacuations of people being needed from parts of the West Bank in the same way as we've seen already during the war in Gaza. That's been picked up on by the Palestinian Authority's Prime Minister's office, which is really talking about the dangers of such comments, also calling for Israel to pull its forces back from around the hospitals, which it continues to surround in Jenin and other places, the difficulties that ambulance crews are having with their communications blocked, being unable to reach the wounded. And they're really looking to the international community on the Palestinian side for some sort of intervention, because they're pointing out that this is just a very dangerous moment.
This is crazy. I love when Zionists will be like, actually, you can't say anything about us because, like, your country was founded on stolen land. Gotcha. Except it's not a gotcha. It's not a gotcha. You think that just because that happened, which you're trying to conveniently bring up because you know that all of us who are alive today weren't alive then, that because that happened then, that means that we should be okay with it now? Make it make sense. And yes, there also is a land back movement here. So, okay, so yeah, so that's what's going on in the occupied West Bank. It's horrifying. Is this person McKinley? Is that person really a Zionist? Because if you're a Zionist, then you need to skedaddle out of my chat. I don't want. Yeah, I need the trolls out of my chat. Hey, Mohammed. Yeah, I'm glad you're here. There's a lot, for whatever reason, there are a lot of trolls in my chat today. There are a lot of trolls, and I need them to leave. You afraid you will win the debate? No, I'm not afraid you'll win a debate. All of your talking points are tired and stale. It's that I don't want to hear the stupid talking points that you have to say because they're dumb and they're tired and they're not true. And there is no debate because, again, you guys have one playbook that you work from and you see the same shit over and over and over again. It's the same tired, stale arguments that you guys have been using for decades, and I'm over it. And You're cheap. You guys are cheap. All of you trolls that come into my comments that want to start debates with me like this, demand that I debate you and argue with you and listen to your stupid, tired talking points, and your cheapskates who don't even donate or send super chats. Get out of here. I'm kicking you out of the chat. I kicked that person out of the chat. I'm not in the mood for trolls. Trolls are bad enough. Cheap trolls are even worse. Oh, yeah, that's right, Saeed. All right, let me know if there's anybody else that's like a troll in here that I can kick out because I'm just not in the mood. I'm just not in the mood. I'm not in the mood for these cheapskates. I'm not in the mood for their tired talking points. If there's any other troll like this in the comments, just let me know and tell me who it is, and I will ban them from the chat. I know, N. I agree with you. They are wasting our time. That's why I said tell me who they are and I'll kick them out. Well, no, L, I can't just ignore them because they're clogging up the chat. Like they're getting in the way so that I can't see other comments. So they're getting in the way of the chat. That's why I'm saying, tell me who they are, and I will kick them out because they're messing up the comment section. And then the trolls will come in here being like, debate me, bro. Being like, debate me, bro. And then they'll just clog up the comments so that I can't see the comments of people who are actually trying to have a conversation. I want to have conversation with people who are in my community. I want to have conversations right now with the people that are in my YouTube community or in any of the other communities that I have that are not trolls, and the trolls are just clogging up the space. Jack Sorella, I do sell merch. I sell it on my YouTube channel. If you look at my YouTube channel, there's like merch under it. Some of them are funny. Yeah, but it's not about winning a debate, Boz. I would beat them in a debate easily. It's not about that. They just repeat the same shit over and over again. And also, like, debates can be annoying too because a lot of times it's not about what the facts are. People like that oftentimes will just yell over people, and it's like whoever can yell the loudest. Think about it. It's what like Zionists do all the time when they go on Piers. Do you condemn Hamas Morgan show? They won't win a debate at all, ever, but they'll scream over the other guests. Interview with a blonde, blue-eyed woman. Oh, yeah. I think I did see that. Hold on, I gotta let my dog out. Do you guys mean this one?
Coming from America to here, settling in potentially in Gaza,
You mean this
kicking
one?
Palestinians out. A lot of people would see that as settler colonialism.
It's not really colonialism, it's a return. My grandparents were kicked out of Israel by Arabs who were trying to establish a Palestinian state, and they had to leave for their survival, and I'm just coming back and fulfilling their dream. That would be the first thing. The second thing is, I think that, and I know this is a minority view, I think colonialism gets a bad rap. Like genocide is bad, but colonizing places that are genocidal and they have bad ideology, it's good to come in and correct their views.
What do you think should happen to the people who are already in Gaza?
So I think that there's a couple of possibilities.
First of all, I love how she was like stumbling when she said over genocidal because like she knows that they're the genocidal ones. So she's like, I think that actually I think that like maybe like it's good to colonize the them. They're the genocidal ones. Like she didn't even believe it. She didn't even believe it. By the way, I got news for you, lady. I can tell just by looking at you that your grandparents did not come from the Middle East, bro. Bro, can we be so for real right now? You did not come from the Middle East. That is like 18 generations of hiding from the sun. Okay? You did not come from the Middle East. Let's just be so real about that. Yeah, seriously. This like it just is hilarious to me that these people are actually trying to convince you that it's their grandparents or ancestors or whatever the fuck that are from the Middle East. You want me to believe you're from the Middle East, lady? Are you kidding me? Like, bro, I'm a sun dodger too, and I am not even that pale. How are you in the sun like that and you're still that pale? That doesn't even make sense. Okay? And I mean, I'm a sun dodger literally and figuratively. That's one of my nicknames, but I actually will literally hide from the sun. When we were on vacation in North Carolina a few weeks ago, you should have seen the amount of cloaking I put on myself and sunscreen in order to prevent myself from getting a tan. And I also still ended up missing a spot on my legs when we were at the beach. So there's a spot on my leg that is really, really dark, and then the rest of it's white from missing it. But I'm sorry. Like this, you want indigenous to the Middle East, okay? Like, come on. Be so for real. Egget. My dog is being bad. The Middle Eastern sun kicked out her. For real, though. This is what I'm going to need this settler to do, okay? I'm going to need her to go back to her actual indigenous land, which is Lithuania, apparently. Also, I like how racist she is, that she's like, colonialism isn't bad because, like, basically these people are savages and we came in. And so if we come in and, like, you know, do re-education for them, like genocide, our culture is better. So is colonization really bad if they're like savages, you know? Like, that's what she's saying.
One that I think is the most real, the one that so I think that there's a couple of possibilities. The one that I think is the most realistic is we got to ask other countries for help. I know that Spain was willing to take a couple of million. I know Russia said they would take a couple of thousand.
To a lot of people, that would sound like you're advocating for ethnic cleansing.
I don't think so, because Palestinian isn't an ethnicity, it's an ideology, and it's an ideology that says that they want Jews dead, and so we want them as far away from Jews as possible.
The would-be settlers take us.
What? They really think like that? That is insane. That is insane. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. That is insane. Where do you even start with that? Where do you even begin with that? That literally was just casual genocidal language from this woman who is so pale that it actually looks like if she sits in the Middle Eastern sun for too long, it would kill her. Like, that's how pale this woman is. Okay. But she literally just called being Palestinian an ideology. What? This is insane. Being Palestinian is they are a people. It is their group. They are the indigenous people to that land. And they actually have it backward. Okay. First of all, there is no ideology that says kill Jews, except for maybe in Germany in the 1940s. So, in fact, that's called Nazism. That's what we call Nazi ideology. So her saying their ideology is they want to kill the Jews. That's not true. That's literally just made up. Like they just made that up. Second of all, I like how she puts on them what they do. So Zionism is an ideology. Zionism is not a protected class, even though the United States is trying to make it one. The United States is trying to do that thanks to the ADL and the lobbying from groups like the ADL. They're trying to make Zionism a protected class, but it's not. It is an ideology. Zionism is an ideology the same way that being a Republican is an ideology, that being a Democrat is an ideology, okay? Zionism is an ideology. Being Palestinian is an ethnicity. It's a nation. It's a people. It's a culture that they're trying to destroy. And then she turns around and goes, first of all, being Palestinian is not an ethnicity. Yes, it is. They are a people. Number one. Number two, how she's like, their ideology tells them to kill Jews. No, it doesn't. You literally just made that up. But I do like that she is admitting that they want to ethnically cleanse them. She's just admitting it. Yeah, of course we want to ethnically cleanse them. We don't want them anywhere near us. Quiet part out loud. This is also what I mean when I say the whole two-state solution thing is BS. They don't want a two-state solution. They don't want Palestinians anywhere near them. Anywhere near them. That's why they're like, maybe Russia can take them. Maybe Spain can take them. They want to ethnically cleanse them. Quiet part out loud. These people are doing the quiet part out loud.
Away from Jews as possible.
The would-be settlers take us to the Erez crossing. It used to be the gateway into Gaza. The area has been closed off by Israeli soldiers, but the group is waved through. They've planted 2 small lemon trees here as symbols of their claims over this land. Just saplings, but the settlers have seen how over the years their efforts bear fruit.
Absolutely deranged. Absolutely deranged. This is just wow. Wow. That was crazy. That was crazy. Yay! Thank you, AK. AK sent me a super chat. Thank you, AK. My first, AK, you were my first super chat of this stream, and I've been on for almost 2 hours. You were my first super chat of this stream. Thank you, AK. Love you, AK. Just wanted to say hi. Hope you're doing well. Thank you. I appreciate you. I appreciate the super chat. Thank you so much. Hi to you. We're talking about, we were talking about that settler that looks like she actually might melt if she sits in the sun too long. Wow, that was insane. That was literally an insane clip. But again, they're actually just saying the quiet part out loud because that's what they think. The whole two-state solution routine is just what they've been telling the West for a long time to make it seem like they're trying to work on a peace deal. But they're not. They were never trying to work on a peace deal. They were never trying to work on a peace deal. The plan was from the jump. It was always to steal all the Palestinian land. It was always to ethnically cleanse them and genocide them and take their land. And in the occupied West Bank now, aside from the raids that they're doing and the attacks that they're carrying out on Palestinians, they are also stealing all of their land there and like taking people's houses, just like it ain't no thing. Yeah, all of this needs to be much more widely exposed than it is. A lot of people don't see that kind of stuff. They don't see that kind of stuff. And more people need to see that kind of stuff. More people need to see interviews like that where they're saying the quiet part out loud. Thank you, Mag Carta, for the super chat. I appreciate you. I really do. I always appreciate so much any of you guys who donate to my Venmo or become members on Ko-Fi or donate super chats, anything like that, or become, you can subscribe also on Instagram. I always appreciate you guys so much to help me do the work that I do and be able to do this, be able to make all this content that I make, which I know I put out a lot, but I'm able to do that because of you guys. So thank you so much for you guys sending super chats. And you said, remember, it ain't the government funding food trucks at the Erez crossing. True. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I'm sure that you saw, Mag Carter, you probably did see, I'm sure you did, the clip of the woman who had a baby, the settler who had a baby who was protesting to stop food from getting in to Palestinian children. I wonder if I can find a clip of that because that was also deranged. Does anybody have that clip, that link, the X link? Oh, Mom to Shih Tzu. A super chat is something that is only on YouTube. So like if people are on YouTube, because you wrote that message to me from Instagram, if people are on YouTube, they can send super chats, which is basically just like a tip. Like, and like YouTube has like an option for you to send a tip like through super chat and put a comment on it. Like that's all it is. They don't have that on Instagram. On Instagram, you can just subscribe to support people. So like on Instagram, if people want to support me in a way that isn't through Venmo, because sometimes people will just send me tips on Venmo. People can subscribe on Instagram, which is like $4.99, and they just like support my work. But super chats are YouTube specific. Does anybody have a link to that lunatic who was protesting at the Erez crossing not to let food in, the one who had a baby? Thank you, Fuwa-chan. You're so sweet. Thank you so much for the super chat. As I explained, I always appreciate you guys so much who send me, whether it's money through Venmo or through super chats here on YouTube or becoming members on my Ko-Fi, which if you become a member on my Ko-Fi, it's just like you can become a member monthly or whatever by on there, or it's like Patreon, or you can become a member on YouTube, which a lot of you are members on YouTube, and I love you. Or you can subscribe on Instagram. It's all basically just ways, which I appreciate so much every time you guys do, of supporting my work so that I can continue to put out the sheer volume of content that I put out. It obviously takes a lot of work and a lot of time and a lot of effort and a lot of reading and a lot of editing. And I don't have an editor. I do it all myself. So obviously, like, you guys are the ones that helped sustain that. So I appreciate you so much. It doesn't let you share links on YouTube. That's so rageful. All right, tell me what keyword to type in on Twitter to find that clip. If anybody knows what a good keyword is to type that in on Twitter to find it, let me know. Oh, Mohammed, do you have the link? Thank you, Sunshine. Damn, you do good. Thank you. Thank you. I do all of it myself. I edit all my videos myself. And I edit them to be platform specific. So I edit my YouTube videos different than I edit my TikTok videos, than my Twitter videos, and all the thumbnails that you do see on YouTube, which I haven't been able to keep up with my thumbnails recently because I've been so behind. I've been so behind on my thumbnails for YouTube because I've been trying to do so much work. Like, I've been trying to do so much work in editing and shit that I have not kept up with the YouTube thumbnails. But the YouTube thumbnails that I do have that are cute, I do all those myself too. Thank you, Boz. You said I'm really well educated on the matter, really impressed. Thank you. Well, that is also because I do a lot of reading, and a lot of listening, because I've told you guys all this before, but I didn't know shit about what was happening in Israel and Palestine before October 7th. I was super uneducated, but I do a lot of reading and a lot of listening, and that is how I've learned so much about it. All right, hold on. Oh, someone said it's in the Discord, which, by the way, join the Discord if you're not already in the Discord. It's free. It's just people in the community, in our beautiful community. Let me see. Somebody share it? Yes. Yes. Thank you, Mohammed. Yes.
Of the occupied West Bank.
Thank you, Mohammed.
Flies in the face of a Palestinian village. God is king, it says. 2 young settlers guard this illegal outpost. Construction hasn't even begun, but we are not welcome.
Also, bro, it pisses me off that they're always like using God as an excuse for this. It's like, I believe in God too. Okay. And so do Muslims. Like, what makes you think you get to have it? What makes you think you get to own it? Like, get out of here.
So they're asking us to leave. They don't want to talk to us. They said they've been here for about 9 months.
Dotted across the landscape, more signs of the fight to assert Israeli control over Palestinian land. The Arabic names on signposts crudely erased. Under international law, the bait...
Sorry, pause. I just got to say something about the Discord. That's really chapping my ass, Iori, because I have changed it so many times to make it permanent. Like, I've gone into Discord and changed it so the link wouldn't expire. It's still expiring. That makes me so mad. Oh, you're right, Magcarta. It's not. I'm looking for, is this not the one with the woman? I'm looking for the one that has the woman. Yeah, I have changed the Discord link so that it wouldn't expire. What's the hell? Oh, Mohammed said he made a fresh link.
Hagla settlement is illegal, but last February, the Israeli government officially recognized it along with 8 others, a move the U.S. strongly opposed.
A move the U.S. strongly opposed, but didn't do anything about. I love how they always say that. It's like it doesn't mean anything. The U.S. strongly opposed it. So, Who cares? It's just lip service. It's words. You didn't do shit. If there is not threat of force behind it, they're not going to listen. Or money. Money. Pull that shit. I'm tired of paying for you hoes. I'm tired of paying for your welfare. Okay?
God promised us this land, Azrael Picard tells us. Now these settlers have set their sights on a new prize, one that seemed utterly impossible before October 7th. Returning to Gaza, they cheer.
No.
That is the goal of Zionist settler organization Nahalal, one of more than a dozen groups now advocating for the reestablishment of Israeli settlements in Gaza.
This is
A
literally
recent promotional video even boasts that Gaza will become the next Riviera.
This is
Daniela,
insane. This, you know what I love? It's always terrorist this, terrorist that, terrorist this, terrorist that. It's literally, this is terrorism. You're openly planning to steal land from people and genocide them. Like, you want to move them out and genocide them so you can take their shit and your what? This is terrorism.
Weiss is the godmother of the movement. She's
And-
already started recruiting
Speaking of terrorists, this woman, she's a lunatic.
from the 700,000 strong settler community of Israel.
We're just arriving now at a settlement in the occupied West Bank, and we're heading to a talk that Daniela Weiss is giving to a group of people who are potentially interested in resettling Gaza.
We are for the land of Israel and Ben Gvir, she says.
First of all, Ben Gvir's a terrorist. He is a convicted terrorist, okay? I'm not even just saying that like colloquially. Like, he actually got convicted of terrorism, okay? Second of all, this Weiss woman is a terrorist. She advocates for genociding Palestinians to take their shit. Like, plain and simple. Yeah, probably with some home that they stole from a Palestinian.
About 20 people gather.
It just enrages me so bad because I know that you guys are used to this. Honestly, I'm just like, I have to just speak for myself as an American who, like I said, was pretty ignorant about this before October 7th. But like, this makes me so enraged because who the fuck do you think you are? You just take like someone's literal house. Like, as somebody who has been raised in the United States and been told from the time I was a kid that you have a right to your property, that's like a huge thing here in the United States. You've got a right to your property. You have a right to defend your property with the Second Amendment, property rights, property rights. So like having that drummed into my head from the time that I was a kid, watching these people so casually just walk into somebody else's house and take their shit without any consequences is insane to me. Insane. Yeah, so if I'm just saying this, if you're wondering why my mind's blown, because I know that a lot of you who have long been educated on this is not surprising to you. It's been happening, I know. But to me, as somebody who just didn't even know about this a year ago, my mind is continually being blown. Like, it is insane to me how casually these people just walk into someone else's house and take their shit and no one does anything about it. Maddening. Insanity. That would never happen here in the United States. Literally never. You cannot just walk into someone's house and take their shit. You would get shot promptly.
In the living room of a family home. Weiss knows that for many in this community, there is deep nostalgia for Gush Katif, a block of 21 Israeli settlements that were forcibly evacuated by the IDF in 2005 when Israel left the Gaza Strip. This is the vision of Gaza, she says. You see all
You're literally talking about like genociding them with a map.
6 groups laying claim to different parts of the enclave.
So they've just been handing out these little booklets that say, people of Israel, return home, and then underneath, a call to return to the settlements of Gaza.
This is insane.
One of the organizers tells the group they have a representative flying to Florida to raise money. Nahala gets support from a number of groups in the U.S., including AFSI,
Of course.
Americans for a Safe Israel, which co-sponsored a recent webinar on the return to Gush Katif, even as the Biden administration has cracked down on settlements in the West Bank.
No, this is insane. This is insane. So they're getting funding. And by the way, a lot of these Zionist groups in the United States are evangelical groups. Ko-Fi or Kufi. Ko-Fi is the, Ko-Fi is the name of my Patreon thing. Kufi is like a huge Zionist group that raises money for these lunatics. And they're like an evangelical Christian group. So just think about the insanity of this, you guys. These lunatics are openly planning to genocide Palestinians and steal their land in Gaza, raising money from Zionist groups that are often funded by insane evangelicals here in America. Insane. Like, it's like the way, you know what I just can't get over is how casually they talk about it. Like, they're talking about it so casually. Like, yeah, we're just going to take it. You know, we're just going to take it. Casually, it's ours. We're going to go back, resettle it. Here's a map. Here's a map. This is where I'm going to put my car. This is where I'm going to build my house. Like, what? Yeah, Sunshine, you're right. Tax deductible, too. It's a tax deductible, too, that they're getting money from these organizations, which, of course, you are, because these people love taking welfare from us. May, thank you so much for the super chat. Thank you. I really appreciate you. Have you read any books by Susan Abdullawa? She also has been on Katie Halper's show, Mornings in Janine. The Blue Between the Sky and the Water and Against the Loveless World are all incredible. No, I will definitely look those up. Yoink. I'm going to write that down. Susan Abdullawa. I'm going to look into that. Thank you. Thank you, May. Yeah, this is just, yeah, Matt Carter, and they're all taxed. The fact that they're all tax deductible is just so insane. It's so insane.
Is a very strong support from very prominent, from very, I would say, wealthy people, wealthy Jews
in the U.S.
In the U.S.
Can you name any names?
No, I cannot.
Oh, lol.
Back at her home in Kedumim settlement, Weiss tells us she's already enrolled 500 families.
I even have on my cell phone names of people who say, enlist me, enroll me. I want to join. I want to join the groups that are going to settle Gaza.
I have to ask you though, because we're sitting here talking and we're listening
yeah,
to the
yeah,
call
I'm listening
to
to
prayer,
it. I hope you are listening to
which
it.
is a reminder, I think, of the people who live here, but also the people who live in Gaza. What happens to them in this vision of this new settlement with Jewish settlers even in Gaza City?
What I think about Gaza, the Arabs of Gaza lost the right to be in Gaza on the 7th of October.
Bullshit. You were going to kick them out anyway. This is not a new project. This is such bullshit. This woman is disgusting. She's a criminal. She's a war criminal. She should be in jail. She should be at the Hague. She's a sociopath. Shut the fuck up. This, they lost their right to be in October 7th. Are you kidding me? This is such a lie. What a big fat lie. You were trying to steal their shit before that. This lunatic has been planning this kind of shit for a very long time. It's not like this organization just popped up after October 7th. This organization did not just come out of nowhere after October 7th. No, motherfucker, you've been trying to do this shit for a long time. Absolutely psychotic. This woman is a demon. I don't even jail all day, every day. Somebody get the criminal courts. This woman is literally a criminal. And this horse shit about, oh, they lost their right after October. Oh, shut the fuck up. Spare me. Spare me. It was never about October 7th. These organizations existed before October 7th, and you have been, listen, these organizations have existed long before October 7th, and they have been planning on resettling Gaza ever since then, which, by the way, I understand that it's called resettling or whatever, because I don't know, I guess that's what colonists or the colonies call it or whatever. But like, I actually hate that they keep saying that because it makes it sound like non-violent. Like, it makes it sound like it's not a violent thing. Like, resettle or settle it. Like, I don't know, there's not really anyone there, and we're going to build some houses and we're going to settle the land that's empty. It's like, I don't even understand that phrase, because it's not, you're not settling anything. You're stealing shit and you're violently removing people. So I just hate like the sanitized language around that. Like, we're going to settle Gaza. You mean you're going to ethnically cleanse and wipe out the entire people there so you can steal their shit. Also, I don't want to hear that America opposes it. The Biden administration opposes it when you've done nothing to stop it. The Biden administration should shut these organizations down. They should shut these organizations down. They won't, but they should. These organizations are so ridiculous. Like, okay, if you are breaking international law and stated policy of the United States, why is your organization allowed to be a nonprofit in the United States? I need an answer to that. Anyone got an answer to that? If you are running a criminal organization like this woman is, where you are getting funding from organizations propping up your terror project in the United States, why are they allowed to operate in the United States? And why are they allowed to operate as nonprofits in the United States? If the Biden administration really opposed these organizations and these efforts of occupation and stealing their land and settling it, then why hasn't the Biden administration shut these organizations down? Why hasn't the Biden administration stopped these organizations from raising money, tax deductible money, and giving them to these criminals? Wouldn't that be the United States breaking its own law? Wouldn't that be the United States breaking its own stated policies? It's almost like the United States doesn't really oppose it, okay? It's almost like the U.S. government and Biden and the Biden administration and the Pentagon and the State Department don't actually oppose what these people are doing, because if they did, they wouldn't be allowing their nonprofit organizations to be funding these entities. Yeah, of course they broke the Leahy law by sending arms to Israel. They just break their own laws because, you know, they're allowed to do anything. Like, this is just so insane. It's fucking insane.
Yes, I do hear the mosque. I do hear the prayer. Things were different until the 7th of October.
Lies.
No Arab.
You're so
speaking
full of
about
shit.
More than 2 million Arabs. They will not stay there. We Jews will be in Gaza.
That sounds like ethnic cleansing.
Okay. The Arabs want to annihilate the state of Israel.
I like how that is always their defense. They just turn around their genocidal actions and intent and just use the same line over and over again. Guys, that's not a fucking answer. That's not an answer. It sounds like you're trying to ethnically cleanse the Palestinians when you say there will be no Arabs living there. Answer? What's your response to that? What's your response to that? To say there will be no Arabs living there is literally ethnic cleansing. What's your response to that? Oh, they say they don't want the state of Israel to exist. That's not an answer. That's literally not an answer. I just want everybody who is already, you know, obviously this doesn't apply to people who already are very familiar and educated and know all these things. But for those who don't, who maybe are just normies and don't pay attention as much, think about how fucking ridiculous that answer is. Oh, it sounds like, which you are, that you're genociding and ethnically cleansing all the Palestinians that live in Gaza, that are indigenous to that land. Oh, well, they don't want the state of Israel to exist. That's not an answer, because they don't want to say it out loud. They don't want to always say every quiet part out loud. Like, yeah, of course we are. Well, actually, I guess some of them are saying the quiet part out loud, like that one Lithuanian white girl that was like, is settling really that bad? Is it really such a bad word? Okay. Oh my gosh, it's insane. It's insane. They're literally admitting that they want to do genocide and ethnic cleansing in Gaza. This is actual quiet part out loud. Wait a second. I thought it was about Hamas. Wait a second. I thought it was about Hamas. Doesn't sound like it.
Will be in Gaza.
That sounds like ethnic cleansing.
Okay. The Arabs want to annihilate the state of Israel. So you can call them monsters. You can call them cleansing of Jews. We are not doing to them. They are doing to us. I couldn't make it clearer when I said that myself, as a person who is preoccupied with settling the land until the 7th of October.
Okay, I love how she's like, I couldn't make it clear. Well, that's probably because what you're saying is bullshit. That's probably why it's not clear. Because what you're saying is bullshit. It's a bullshit. It is a lie. And you think that you can continue to just say, oh, well, they want to annihilate the state of Israel, Yeah, but you're ethnically cleansing them and you're genociding them. Yeah, well, they want to annihilate the state of Israel. That's not an answer. That's a straw man. That's a straw man. Yeah, and then she's like, I'm sorry that I've been very clear. No, you weren't clear. Yeah, you're right, Mohammed. It was just a word salad of basically defending their desire to ethnically cleanse and genocide the Palestinians and then repeating the lie that the Palestinians are trying to annihilate them. The Palestinians are not trying to annihilate them. That is a lie. The Palestinians are trying to get free from their oppression. And it's embarrassing that Clarissa Ward didn't say that.
I didn't have plans of returning to Gaza.
Lies.
I'm not interested in cleansing.
Lies.
What is clear is that Weiss's views, traditionally seen as extreme in Israel, have become more popular since October 7th. In late January, jubilant crowds packed an auditorium in Jerusalem for the Victory of Israel conference, calling for the resettlement of Gaza. A poll that month from the Jewish People Policy Institute found that 26% of Israelis advocate the reconstruction of the Gush Katif settlements after the war is over. Among supporters of Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's right-wing coalition government, that number jumps to 51%. Several ministers were present at the conference, including far-right Heritage Minister Amichai Eliyahu. In a rare interview with Western media, he tells us his political decisions are guided by the Torah. Is there anything
I don't care what guides your decisions. It's illegal.
Settlements in Gaza are needed to prevent another October 7th.
Right, under the fake pretense of self-defense and protection. It's such bullshit. Saying October 7th, something saying it's need for protection. Lies. It's all bullshit. It's all lies. They're just using that as an excuse to take more of their shit. I am so tired of hearing this tap dance. Oh, the reason why we have to go in there and steal the rest of their land is because of October 7th and Hamas. It's like, except for the fact that all you bitches already have these organizations set up and money flowing through them and funding way before October 7th happened. So that is horse shit. Yeah, and also, just because your religion says it doesn't mean shit. It doesn't mean shit. This is ridiculous. Like, I don't care what your religious text says, and neither does anybody else. So your religious text says that this belongs to you, and that's why you get to have it? Get the fuck out of here. Muslims have their own religious text. What about atheists? Atheists have their own beliefs. That's why we have laws. That's why we have laws. You don't get to put your religion on other people, especially when you call yourself a democracy. You call yourself a democracy? Nah, son. You don't get to be a democracy and a religious ethno-state at the same time. That's not a thing. Yeah, this reminds me of when morons in the United States, which is like a very fringe part of the right-wing MAGA movement, that'll be like the white nationalists, that'll be like, we need to return back to a religion. It's like, have you ever read the Constitution? Like, it explicitly says there will be no religious text. Like, that's not a thing. Yeah, this is insane. Yeah, and this also goes back to the problem with the corruption in the United States, because the United States is so fucking corrupt. Our government is so corrupt. All of our politicians are bought and paid for by big money, dark money, the Israeli regime money, corporate cash. Like, our politics is so corrupt, and our politicians are like openly for sale. Anybody can buy them. That is the only reason why they are supporting the Israeli regime the way they are. It's not like they actually give a shit, except for maybe like Mike Johnson, who's a religious zealot, and Mike Pence, because they're evangelicals who think that like if they support Israel, that's going to usher in the rapture. But like most of them in Congress don't give a shit. They don't give a fuck. They just do it because the checks. They're like, did the check clear? This just makes me so fucking mad. Like, it really does make me so mad. This makes me so enraged. Like, it makes me so enraged that they're able to get away with it. That they're able to get away with it. That you could just waltz up like this and say the most crazy ass shit and just take someone's shit and get away with it. Thanks to my government. This is just... That's a great idea, Boz, to put a book recommendation in the Discord for like what like books we can read about Palestine. Move this up.
Jewish settlement, there will be more security. Doesn't mean there will be absolute security, but there will be more security.
Why would you advocate for something that many would say is illegal, is immoral, is not supported by the majority of Israelis, and is also very harmful to Israel in terms of its international standing?
Why do you think it's immoral to take land from someone who wants to kill me? Why is it immoral to take my land, which my ancestors...
See? So they always posture themselves as the victim. Why is it immoral for me to take land from somebody who wants to kill me? They don't want to kill you. They want you to leave them the fuck alone and stop oppressing them and stealing their shit. That's what they want. No, ain't nobody want to kill you, boo. No one cares. No one cares. Like, this is ridiculous. But they always have to posture themselves as victims. That's why they love to be in the position of being, we need security. It's for our security. It's for our security. They always want to be in the position to where like people are hostile to them. That way they get to be a victim and they get to justify their genocide and ethnic cleansing in the name of defense. There is nothing defensible about this shit. There is nothing defensible about this shit, about this terrorism, about this land grab, about this ethnic cleansing, about this genocide. There is nothing defensible about it, and this is not defense. But they lie and they say, oh, I'm a victim. I'm a victim. Everyone's out to get me. They're trying to kill me. That's why I need to kill all their children and take their land. Like, this is fucking ridiculous. I don't know why this is particularly fucking pissing me off today, but it is probably because I hadn't seen these clips. And it's like, I know these settlers are evil, but like watching these clips and how brazen they are, and how brazen they are about stealing people's shit and then calling themselves the victims. Like, just like how brazen they are about stealing other people's shit, trying to make themselves the victims, gaslighting everyone, breaking international law, and then getting money and cover from the US. It just makes me so fucking mad. Oh my gosh.
Live there, which I've even given up to someone who slaughters, rapes, and murders me. What is more immoral than that?
You just made that up. Who just slaughters and murders? You just made that up. Like, this is so ridiculous.
Netanyahu has called resettling Gaza, quote, an unrealistic goal, and most Israelis agree. But that hasn't stopped scores of IDF soldiers fighting there from posting videos, calling for a return to Gush Katif. For many supporters of the settler movement, what was once a distant fantasy is now a fervent dream. Clarissa Ward, CNN, the occupied West Bank.
This is deranged. So their terrorist soldiers, the IOF, are going in there and saying, and taking photos. Nah. So these terrorists are coming in there, taking photos in their schools. They're going in there and they're taking photos of themselves saying, yes, let's resettle Gaza. Yes, let's resettle Gaza. Taking photos in their mosques, in their schools. Like, this is literal terrorism. This is terrorism. Every accusation is a confession. No, they know the 40 beheaded babies thing was a hoax. They knew that. They just keep lying about it. It's insane. This is crazy. Yeah, they just keep lying about it. So then they always get to be the victims. I don't know if you guys heard that story from that woman who made up the hoax about there being a supposed suicide letter from one of the people at the Nova Festival. And he claimed that there was like all this, like he witnessed all this sexual assault and blah, 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 and like totally like lied about it and made it up. So I commented on that woman's post and I said, evidence? Where's the evidence for this? Like, you say this guy wrote the suicide note and you have absolutely no evidence for it. And then it came out, of course, that, where is it? Hold on. I think I shared the link. Oh, did I not? I thought I shared the link. Hold on. Hello. Here it is. Okay, so the story that I just told you. Okay, so that propagandist was claiming that this was real and that they were like, you know, they committed suicide or died by suicide because they just couldn't live with the guilt from all the supposed sexual assault at the Nova Festival they mentioned. And again, no evidence, no photos, no evidence from anyone willing to go on the record, no testimony, no investigation, no forensic evidence, nothing. Okay. And then this came out today, a story that ran in recent days about a Nova survivor who saw the horrors and committed suicide did not leave a single dry eye. But after trying to reach the family to tell their story, the search turned into an investigation. We will reveal tonight in in the tube that it is completely fake. It is not clear what brings people to invent things like this, but to cheapen the real plight of survivors and to play with souls of others is simply disgusting. As you can see, you guys, this was translated from Hebrew. This was translated from Hebrew. So this was one of the, wait a second. The post got deleted. Oh my gosh. I was going to share the post that the propagandist put on there, but then she deleted it. Oh my gosh, you guys. You guys, that post had over 20,000 likes on it. You guys, this is amazing. This is amazing. This story, this link that I'm sharing with you right now that was deleted by this propagandist on X was liked by over 20,000 people and was seen by well over 300,000 people. It was close to like way more than that, probably more now that it's been up for a couple days. That post was 3 days old. It was posted 3 days ago. And it was a long, I don't think it's a glitch. It was a long post. I'll try to do it again. But really quick, it was a long post about this propagandist, Ava Clampos or whatever, saying in a detailed suicide note that he witnessed the sexual assault of these women and how he couldn't live with the guilt anymore of not helping them. So he died by suicide. And this guy's reporting, this guy who wrote it in Hebrew, I'll look up who he is, that it was fake. Well, well, well. What did I tell you? I wish the post was still up because I posted on there, on the post at the time, that it was made up and that it wasn't real and that there wasn't evidence for it and that they didn't have any forensic evidence. They didn't have any testimony. They didn't have anything. Anything. They didn't have zilch. They didn't have zilch. And you know what's funny is that when I posted that, on her comment, when I posted this on her comment originally, people came into the comments and were saying that I was a rape apologist and that I didn't care about women. I didn't care about women. I hated women. No. It's that I knew it was a hoax. I knew it was a lie. I knew it was just more propaganda so that you could use it as a justification to kill more Palestinians. So, excuse me. Waiting for an apology from all the hoes who attacked me after that. Where is my apology from all the hoes that came on that post and attacked me after that? Ava Klampos and all your little stands that came on the post to attack me over that. Where's the apology? Because it was a hoax. Okay. Lies. Yeah, I wonder if it is still on the Wayback Machine. Where was... Sorry, guys. I was looking for that tweet. Yes, I found it. I just wanted to find my reply. I wanted to find my reply. So as you can see, she deleted the post, but you can still see my reply. See how it says this post was deleted by its author? Oh, so you deleted the hoax. Okay, so this is what I wrote 3 days ago when I got attacked by her followers. As you can see, there's 81 comments on this, on mine. And a bunch of them was hers. As you can see, there was 81 comments on it, and it was from a bunch of her followers attacking me for saying this. I wrote, who is this woman? What's her name? Where's the evidence? Where's the rape kit? Where's the autopsy? This isn't 1943. We have the technology and the medical science to have all of these questions answered. How come this hasn't been investigated? Where's the report? Or are we just supposed to take the word of an anonymous letter? That's what I said. And I got attacked by all her loser followers when now it's deleted. Now it's deleted. Why? Because it was a lie. It was a hoax. Because you really should question those kinds of things. Their claim was, oh, it was because they wanted to protect the privacy of the family. Bullshit. You don't do that in murder investigations. We wanted to protect the privacy of her family. You don't do that in murder investigations. No, you don't. Also, that's a bullshit. That doesn't pass the smell test because they didn't want to protect the privacy of the woman that was on the back of the truck that they kept parading around. They love playing that video over and over and over and over again to be like, look, if that had really happened, they wouldn't give a shit about the privacy. They would be talking about it and plastering the photos everywhere. But there was no investigation. There was no identification of who this supposed woman was because it didn't happen. Because it didn't happen. So, to all you motherfuckers that came into my post to tell me that I didn't believe women, like this guy, please get lost. A look at your timeline of the continuous messages of your hate post is all I need. Why? Because I call it the Israeli regime's lies. And then I said, shut up, Bart. It's not my problem that you guys keep making up atrocity propaganda so you can kill more Palestinians. Who is you guys? Where'd I make up propaganda? Blah, 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 blah. Oh, you know what? I'm going to respond to Bart here and let him know that his hoax was taken down, okay? Damn it. It didn't save it. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Oh, look at that, Bart. Turns out your little friend deleted it because it was a hoax. Deleted the post because it was a hoax. Don't worry. I don't expect any self-reflection from you or retraction. Any retraction or self-reflection. Amazing. Amazing. Stuart Clark, thank you so much for the super chat. Thank you so much for the generous super chat. I appreciate you. Hi, have you come across Christopher Boland's work mainly based around 9/11 and the creation of Israel's war on terror and the rape of the U.S.? No, I'll write that down too. Thank you for the rec. And again, thank you for the super chat. I appreciate it. Christopher Boland. Yeah, I'll look into that. Yeah, so embarrassing. So embarrassing. All right. Anyway, you guys, I am going to have to do the Jill Stein story next time we go live because I've already been on stream now for 2.5 hours and I have a lot of other work I got to do, and 2 hours is usually my goal. So I actually went over, which is fine, but I do have a lot of other things that I need to catch up on. I have a lot of editing I need to do. I've got to go yell at people on Twitter and call them out on their lies. You know, the usual kind of shit that, you know, I got to work on. But yes, thank you guys so much for joining. Also, I need you guys too to make sure that you're following me on YouTube. So please help grow my YouTube channel. Also protect my YouTube channel, you guys, because they're always attacking me. Like in fact, this actually applies to all my channels, whether it's TikTok or whether it's Instagram or X or YouTube. The Zionists are always attacking me and always coming after me. So yeah, definitely please subscribe to my YouTube, comment on it, comment on the post. It kind of like helps. And just like, of course, like, you know, having you guys like subscribe and comment on things and like things and getting notifications and stuff like that. Like if you subscribe to YouTube and like content and share content and subscribe to the notification bell that's on my YouTube, I think all of those things help the algorithm. And I'm just trying to like grow it and also inculcate it for all the attacks. Because I told you guys, right? Deborah Messing got really mad about my TikTok video and sent her loser followers to go attack my TikTok and get the video taken down. So yeah, anyway, it just helps. Having the support helps. If you guys haven't joined the Discord is free. It's just a place for us to communicate with each other and for you guys to communicate with each other too, because we're on the same page here. We're growing a good community. So yeah, thank you guys so much. Thank you again for everybody who gave me super chats, who's donated to help me and to help support my work and so that I can continue to do what I do. I love you all very much. And we will talk about Jill Stein next time. I'm probably going to stream either next Monday or Tuesday will be my next stream. So again, subscribe to my YouTube and click the bell so that it'll notify you when I go live. And yeah, we will talk about Jill Stein and why I don't really support her campaign or like her. We'll talk about that next week. We ended up getting distracted. Yeah, Pranay, I wish I knew a lawyer, like a free speech lawyer. I would love, if I know a free speech lawyer, I would love to try to like sue TikTok for targeting my account so much. And you can also become a member on my Ko-Fi. It's ko-fi.com/IamBlakely if you want to become a member there just to support my work. Or on Instagram, you can subscribe there just by hitting subscribe. Or on YouTube, you can become a member by subscribing there, which Boz just did. Thank you, Boz. Thank you for becoming a member. You guys all help me keep this going. And for the couple people that asked me where to buy merch, you can buy merch on my YouTube channel. So if you go to YouTube/IamBlakely on my YouTube, you can buy merch there. And I think I am going to add that. Is there a Zionist in my chat? I think that's what it said. It was funny. All right, you guys, I love you so much. Free Palestine. We're not going to stop until Palestine is free. And thank you for helping me do the work that I do so I can continue to call out these lies, and make fun of the liars, including you, Deborah Messing. Don't think I'm going to stop making fun of you because I'm not. All right, love you guys. See you later.